All right, we have our chamber on. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So as you know, I've asked for, this is my turn to ask for funding for the chamber for the next year. You also should have a attachment that shows all the things that we've done this year. I've been very busy, and it was nice that I had to type this up because I realized just how busy I was typing it. I was like, oh, I did that and that and that. But it's important. It's important for us to have a positive presence in our state capital and other places with the Wyoming Business Council, with other chambers, so that we can collaborate and work together, or other towns. Really we're just getting out there. We're changing minds, one-minded, or opinions one mind at a time, hopefully. And we have new things coming up. We want to work more collaboratively and include non-members as well for tourism for the whole Platte County. You know that Tour de Platte got postponed. We're gonna postpone it till next May. The committee agreed that, let's just put it off. The comments and the advice for us was that we're not a cycling community, so people don't look to us outside. So now we have bike clubs. We've reached out all the surrounding states, and we even extended that there for the last push. We had some registered. We've got all of our sponsors. I mean, this is gonna be a very successful event if we can get the riders. Some of the suggestions were don't call it a race. It's too much pressure for people. They don't want to call it a race. The other thing is maybe just to do do a loop and do the big race also, or the ride, sorry. The big ride and a loop, a smaller loop. So I'm working with the Dead Swede, is the name of the bike race up in Sheridan. Working with them in the, I forget what it's called, Rubidoux, in Nebraska too. So they're gonna come on board and help us figure out how we get the racers or the bicyclists in, because that's what we were missing.
You guys talk to the Laramie Enduro guys?
What's Laramie Enduro?
It's the biggest bike race in this corner of the state.
They call it something else then.
I don't know.
Is that the bike club?
No, it drew in a lot of people, and they probably have renamed it and they went from a race to whatever, but it's still a very, that's where I would go.
Thank you. I will Google that to find out, because I bet I can trace it back.
I'll get with you, because those guys, I used to run with those guys, and a lot of them they still like me. I don't know.
Nice.
Hey, ran alongside me.
Those racers,
You know,
those riders, I tell
I
you.
was always moral support, so hey, at least I'm not that dead guy back there. I'm not dead yet.
You got to be as long as we're ahead of him, we're okay.
Yeah, it was fun for me too.
They call it the tail draggers or whatever, I can't remember. But yeah, so we're still super excited to do it. A lot on my social media was unbelievable for this event. But that tells you that just because your socials are doing well doesn't mean that it's gonna fall into place. So our partners in our community are excited still, and they still want to do it. So we're just going to pivot a little bit and see if we can't get, if I can get 2 bike clubs to do this, I think we'll be fine. Yeah. I think because they'll get the other clubs to come in too. Yeah. So I'm doing the please, oh please, help us out, help us with our first year, and after that, then we'll at least have a name at that point, and that'll be a yearly thing.
So you're thinking about having like a bike ride, which is a long course, and then a small one? Yeah,
so we'll do 2. And the reason we didn't split them up or do multiples, we were afraid to bite off more than we could chew the first year. But now that we're talking to everyone, they're like, no, this is the way to do it. Like the Dead Swede, their biggest registration, their biggest registrants are in the 40 mile. So 20 out, 20 back. Yeah. And they get 400. In just the 40 miles. So we'll do something that's around Wheatland. I was thinking from the chamber down to 34 on the old Wheatland, the old highway, and then around and back.
Guernsey has good bike trails.
Yep, we could do another one in there. The hard part is we still have to figure out the logistics for a finish line. Yeah. So we'll figure that out.
Well, if it's not a race, you don't need a finish line.
That's right.
Well, right, you're right. But, some of them still want, it's funny, they want the prizes, but they don't want to call the race. It's a thing. It's a thing, and that's what the John at the Dead Swede said.
Have you thought about maybe expanding it to like a bike course and then maybe a horseback trail too.
We had some
Oh, yeah.
comments on
That
Facebook
actually-
about, this would be amazing to do with horses. So yes, I mean, in the following years, we can expand this as big as we
But
want,
you
we
might
just
get
need
more-
participants.
More local participation and
yep.
something like that. I know they used to do a big ride, like up past Seville,
Endurance.
Shamrock.
Okay.
Susie Schaumburg was always involved in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
But there were people that came from all over the country and brought their horses and they stayed around the 4th of July, I think, wasn't it?
that actually kind of fits our, I mean, you could
Sure.
probably tie in a bunch of people to that.
sure.
But she'd be a good resource to. if they're
Schaumburg?
interested. Yeah, Susie
Okay.
Schaumburg.
Well, and here's the thing, I never once thought to ask y'all. I didn't. I mean,
Oh, man.
as resources,
Oh,
so
man.
this is what I've learned is that, you know, you reach out farther than you think.
I'm what they would call multifaceted.
Okay, I'm gonna be better put your money where your mouth is, cause I'm coming.
If you want to do bike races, I'm actually like very good at those.
You are?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say anything?
Yeah, 'cause I
Okay,
didn't know.
okay, no, you're
Yeah.
right, you're right.
I know.
Well, look, you saw that it was going well, I mean, everything on the outside went, it was going. And then we were down to like the last month,
Mhm.
and I didn't have enough registrants. I just
Yeah.
I couldn't justify doing it. And so, you know, then we had some, we'll talk about later, but anyway, so that's what we're doing. So the other thing that we're doing is we're gonna start, it's called the Taste of Platte. And so it's gonna be a supper club, so I hope you guys will sign up, to where there's like 5 weeks, one at each town, a restaurant at each town that participates, and you purchase a passport from the chamber. I've worked out deals, or the concept is, I've worked out deals with each of the restaurants. You guys show up, you have dinner, you see the same people every time you go because you're part of the supper club. And then you go to this restaurant, that restaurant, and anyway, and that gives you, if you haven't been to a restaurant, one of those restaurants, now you go because you purchased the passport. So I thought that might be a good way to push us all into each other's communities, because you know, that is the goal for not just the chamber, but for tourism also, is to get us all, you know, working together and talking to each other. I don't know if you knew that I do the 5 mayors, 1 table every month. We're taking these 2 months off, but every month the mayors meet, all 5 mayors. Sometimes we don't have one, but we will from now on, and well, depending on who becomes mayor, I suppose. I'm hoping that we continue to do this, where I bring guest mayors in from other towns that have grown to talk to them about the constraints or the issues or whatever, and gives them kind of just like camaraderie too. You know, that it's not open to anyone else but the mayors and whatever guest speaker they either asked for me to bring or I've roped into bringing to meet with them, so.
That's like when I went to Chugwater.
Yes,
You had
yes,
to-
Jeff-
was it the planner that came from Douglas who,
Oh, no, that was the mayor.
that was her? Okay,
Yeah,
her.
Kim,
Okay,
Mayor
okay.
Paxton,
Kim
yeah.
something?
Paxton.
There you go. Okay.
She came to that one, she was like, as she was leaving, she goes, Trisha, you should do this all the time. I said, Kim, I do. This happens every month. And she's like, this is great. So, you know, just different things. And then, like I said, when we're out in the community, we're all over. We're, you know, going through some transition now. It's funny how every year to year, you pivot, you know, you figure out here's what happened, so here's how we're gonna go forward and avoid that. But next year this year will have its own challenges for next year. So I don't know, you know, when I came in here just raring to go, well, I've had a few knockdowns, and not too bad, not too worse for wear, but still excited and still very optimistic and hopeful for our community.
I think they call that tempered wisdom.
Oh, okay,
There
good.
you go.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks. He was a good word.
Oh, yeah.
He says all the good words. Tempered wisdom, thank you. So,
Yeah, he's
That's-
a real Bob Frost up there.
is that what we call him, Bob, not Rob?
Yeah.
So anyway, just, you know, that's where we're at, that's where we're headed. We're gonna be doing some look at our membership tiers. We're gonna be doing some looks at, just different things. Again, you know, my first year was definitely, I feel like an experiment. But, you know, I can say that I'm not too disappointed with how we've led the chamber this year, so I'm pretty excited about where we're going. Domino's is coming. And that's on video, right? Sure.
I thought I had moved on from that unhealthy phase of my life.
No,
Be fine.
now that they're here, you're gonna have to ride your bike there. There you go. You're a bike rider.
I'm one of those 40 milers every day.
Yeah.
So is this survivable for Pizza Hut?
You know, I don't know.
That's
I
just
don't know
something I
what
had to
that
throw
looks
out
like,
there.
but I know that they struggle a lot. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
I mean, they used to have the buffet and so forth and so on, and pre-COVID, you couldn't hardly get, you go in there for lunch and it's full.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they have not been able to come back from the COVID shutdown.
I think COVID hurt a lot, but again, I also think that it's that we don't, my personal opinion is that we don't have enough rears and seats.
Mhm.
You know, I know that people hate those words, we need to grow, but that is what we need to do. We need to move, there's gotta be some movement, and if there's not, this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
New businesses will come to town, but I can tell you from talking to these investors, they would not be coming if it was not going to, if things weren't coming this way. So, and that's, I don't know, I stood here a year ago and said, stuff's coming. It's
ROI
coming
is
from
being
Cheyenne.
determined
It
on
came
their
from
plan.
Denver to Fort Collins to Cheyenne, Cheyenne's coming this way. So this is what we're looking at. We need to decide what that looks like for us and how to make that work. So anything that I can do for you all, any information, you know, I always say, put me in, coach. If you need some resource, Tresha, look this up. He probably already has an answer,
No.
but you can just ask him.
No,
I'm teasing, but
I will-
him or Malcolm, between the two of them.
I will waffle.
But if there's anything that I can do, you know, if I'm missing the mark somewhere, let me know. I mean, my door's open. I believe in collaboration, and I honestly believe we have to support each other and come together in this, because this is a big thing that's come in our direction. AI is just huge. AI is just huge, and it's not going away.
So what's that look like, you think? What
For
does
us,
that look like? Yeah.
For Platte County, I think we'll either, so I've always thought that if we don't decide what it looks like for us, it'll overrun us. And that's what I saw in Bozeman. That doesn't mean that that's the end all for us either, but that's the trajectory, is what my personal opinion is. What I think that we need to do is decide again what that looks like, because I think it could be very, very beneficial. The data centers call the chamber, and I spoke to several, and the one gentleman said, it's like a train. You either give it a path or it goes around you and it misses you. Another one said, do something or it's gonna run you over. So I had the two different opinions, but that's something that, I mean, as far as commissioners, my very humble, because I don't do what you do, opinion is we gotta figure this out before it happens, because it's coming. Everyone's using AI. I mean, if you think about what we were talking about this morning, Ask Jeeves. How many of you remember Ask Jeeves?
Mhm.
That was the very first, I think that was pre-Google.
Yeah.
That was the very first AI. I mean, it's silly to think that Santa's elves are sitting there answering your questions as you type them into a computer. You know, that's not what's happening. It's AI, and it's been happening a long time. But now they've figured out how to use it in such a way that it's in everything we do.
Well, and there's more to data centers than just AI.
Agreed. And that's the fear too, I think, is that they're afraid of government surveillance with the AI and the data centers. But this also helps us become better communities, gathering data. That's what data centers are. They gather data. I've started a series, I write an article in the newspaper if you haven't seen it yet, once a week or sometimes once every other week, called The More You Know. And that's just, again, educating our public on different things. And usually it's a definition of a word, what the actual definition is, and then what the chamber thinks it is, or how it applies to the chamber. And again, that's just trying to connect people, because I use words like unify and community and
Yeah.
working together, collaboration, things like that. So anyway, and then of course, social media. So what it looks like is it's coming. And again, if we don't decide how that looks, I don't know what that looks like. It either misses us or it runs us over.
So
I
how do
mean,
you decide though?
I think you
That's what I
have
have problem. I mean, I have trouble with what do you decide? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think that you have to be educated in what it is and what it does. you know, what it needs, what are the needs in comparing to what our county can provide. You know, I know that there's a lot out there about water usage. The things that I've read is in talking to the data centers, which again, that could be swayed, you know, unbiased or biased, is that they don't use any more water than an office building. They have recycled water systems that keep that water cooling inside the recycled system that they have. They've asked me for anywhere from if there's 5 to 25 acres. The 5-acre data center that I was privy to talk to the gentleman about was 10 megawatts of power that they would require. The 25-acre would be 50. So, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know regulations. I don't know, I wish that I had the answer for you, but I would just say investigate, be careful. You know, listen to, which you guys do. I'm not telling you anything you don't already do. Listen to the public. Knowing that there are 8,600 residents in our community and not 30, not 300, not 500. There's 8,600. So those are all the voices. And again, anything I can do to help out with that, let me know. If I need to bring some talks together for it, I don't have a problem with that at all, arranging that and getting that done.
Well, those data centers technology is moving at the speed of light.
Again, I thank you for reminding me of that, because that's the same thing they said. The same data center they build today will be different 5 years from now,
Or less.
or less.
sure.
Mhm. Technology is just,
You know,
it's
from wiring to
moving.
cooling to this to all of it.
Yep, agreed.
So what do they require from the county, or what are they asking for, except for ends to land deals?
Well, it's funny because the two gentlemen that I spoke to said, we're kind of going backwards. Normally, we don't contact you guys until after we've talked to the city and county and whatnot. And he said, but we want to make sure there's even land. I said, it's Wyoming. There's lots of land here. What do you want it for? You know, you have to figure that out, like, what are your requirements? And if you don't know what those are, should you be in business, you know?
Yeah.
But I said, you know, those are the things. Go through the regulations. If there's a regulation that doesn't match other counties, talk to them. And again, if I need to be a facilitator to get that done, that's what the chamber does. We connect, we facilitate, business to business, education, whatever. So hopefully that's, you know, I will never discourage any business from coming. That's not my job as the chamber.
Right.
So when I don't pretend to know anything. I just say, this is what I think you should do. Talk to them. Let them know. I know that Malcolm has said so many times, if there's a regulation that's not great, let us know. Let us know how we get around it or what you think. Doesn't mean we'll do it, but you know, just
So
that
what do you
feedback.
what do you think our single greatest obstacle to progress is?
You know, that's not a question. I think it's mentality, and I don't mean as in not smart or smart. I think it's hard to change. It's hard to move forward. You like things the way they are, and I think that's what it is. I think it's just a state of mind and a way of life that everyone's used to.
To me, it's false information.
Well, I agree that false information is out there,
Because-
but if I don't
It's so easy for people to get false information.
agree,
I don't Facebook, but I look at my wife's occasionally and somebody will say something on there, you know, I'll know it's false.
Yep.
But the amount of people that just panic and, oh my God.
100%.
And I
So
think-
that's another reason why we're doing the More You Know and the things that we post on Facebook as well, is to get that out there. People don't like to hear it. They don't. But see, then I think that's why it's a bigger issue, is because if I don't want to like something, it doesn't matter what information I get about it, I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want that here, it doesn't matter if it's totally
And
safe.
that's how the system works.
Yes,
I'm only gonna be presented with information that I'm looking for.
exactly.
I'm not gonna get the information from another perspective.
That's exactly
Because I don't
right.
look for it,
That's exactly right.
because that's how the internet works.
Yeah, well, and that's, you know, quite honestly, that's how AI works too. You know, AI will tell you what you want it to tell you. So it's a matter of self-accountability and self-awareness, I think. too, and knowing, am I being neutral on this? Is it really a bad thing? Let me find out for real. You know, and that's like debate club, right? If you were ever in debate club, did you not have to argue for and against? I think those are the best tools that anyone can have, is to go, okay, well, this is terrible because, no, now it's my turn to convince everyone why it's not. And that gives you that perspective of, okay, it could change your mind and it may not, but it gives you that option.
The problem with like that social media is you don't know where that information's
You
coming
don't.
from.
You don't. We're also working with Meta in Cheyenne to bring a class that'll teach, first of all, how to use our darn cell phones, how to use Facebook, and also how do you tell? What is AI? Let's learn about AI. We need more learning, you know, about, we need to discover what it is. How does it work? You know, so we're again, lots of irons in the fire, because I'm also doing tourism too, so doing the best we can do and dealing with our turnover and whatnot too, because now JC's going to college. Yay, good for her. That's what happens. That's what happens, you know. I, encourage and facilitate, and they, we move on to better jobs and improve our lives, and isn't that what we want for everybody? So I can't hate them for it, but I'm like, don't leave me, please. No. She's great, and she's going to cosmetology school in Torrington, which is fantastic. You know, she's gonna come back, and she's like, I promise after working for the chamber, I'm gonna be a chamber member. I was like, great, would you start your business? Yep, you come on, we'll take you. So, I don't know, that's just kind of the long version of what we're doing, and no, I didn't want to come up here and tell you that we didn't do Tour de Platte, because I was so jazzed, and you guys are so supportive about it, but it's not that we're not doing it, we're just putting it on pause to make sure that it's a very successful event. Everyone I've talked to though, in the industry is like, your instincts are spot on. And they're just spot on. The only part is that we just didn't have, we're not a biking community, so people don't gravitate to this. Other people don't know what we've got. So we're gonna do some new things and do some new marketing with that and see. Tourism-wise, the Lodging Tax Board, we're looking at marketing better and figuring out how to get that rolling better too. We have a strategic planning meeting on Monday, next Monday, to do a whole new strategic plan for the Lodging Tax Board for tourism. So we're super excited. It's future. It's exciting. Anything else?
No, I think it was a great
Good conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes. Anytime, my door's always open. If I'm there, call JC, well, whoever I'll have next. Make an appointment, because I'm, as soon as I can, I'm out the door and visiting and getting in the communities and trying to. Mr. Michaels is now a board member for the chamber as well, so, from Guernsey. So
Congratulations.
we're very happy
Good to
and
see you.
excited to have him
Good to
on
be
board
here.
as well. So thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, no
Thank
worries,
you.
thanks. And again, let me know. Ian, we're gonna
Get
have a
hold-
conversation.
Yeah, get a hold of me.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on with our agenda, and we have an executive session to discuss personnel matters scheduled.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
Okay, guys, have a
Thank
good
you.
one. Bye
Yeah,
now.
thank you. I would move to go into executive session for personnel matters.
Do we have a second?
I'd second it. I was waiting for the 1644.
Yeah,
It's all right.
can't read.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion Yes.
Oh, we're in here, the commissioners have. So where you
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're talking budget today, Jordan.
If you guys really want to.
I really, really want to.
Okay. Yeah.
What number are you?
Hold on one second. So,
Hey, Rex, how are you?
he's somewhere south of 100, north of 200. So he's gonna be under admin 134.
I'm almost there.
I got you to see the very last pair.
Very last.
Exactly.
I saved the very last tab for the biggest request. So, similar to, all the other times you've heard this, because of YCATs, things got jumbled around just a little bit. So that's why, so I always report IT as part of admin. As we get more specificity, of course, I'll break out what department has what share of Jordan's bill, which I think would be helpful. In his request, he has sent a follow-up, which was part of your materials I put on your desk today, which was his estimate to bring the fairgrounds onto the network.
Everything out there.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have to do all of it if we went for it.
Does that include the 2 laptops that they were asking for?
It would include getting Ag Extension onto the same system so that we could, they'd have their own network portion of things, but they would have access to be able to use.
So what he's saying is, so the fair asked for 2 laptops.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew about that.
I did not.
So one would replace her desktop. So how like my office is working, and then one would basically be for Jim's.
So would it replace the desktop? I mean, we'd completely
No.
swap them out?
I think that's super feasible for her because of the digital signage and stuff in there. She wouldn't be able to take it if she needed it, because that runs off of her desktop.
So the reason I had recommended that was for every workstation, every computer we have, Jordan's bill goes up.
Yes.
And because it's a per device charge. So like my office, what we did was we scrapped all of our desktops, we all went to laptops. That way,
Dual purpose.
we can plug those in, move them as we need to. Which pros and cons, big time. But
Look at you.
that's why I was thinking with her. Otherwise, we're assessed the same charge. So then I would advocate, well, I don't know what I would advocate. I probably would still advocate 1 laptop then. That's up to you guys.
What's the rate on each one as we add them on?
They are currently,
Like $12 a month, isn't it?
I think it's 75 a month.
I do believe, it's not 12.
It'd be 12.
That's a good try.
It would be, so it would, in this budget, it would go up to
Could you get it closer to 12?
66.95. No,
No.
not unless you don't want
What
me to
if-
be around for very long.
What if we said that the person who's using is not very good at computers, so they shouldn't cause you very many problems?
I would say it would be the opposite. It would need to go
He's gonna
up.
double the price.
So you
Yeah,
can,
that should be double.
you can see in Jordan's request, he puts out under the IT technical support, per workstation cost increases by 3% to $66.95 per month per server, yada yada.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against laptops for them, but it would have to be there in order to run any of the display stuff. So if she needed it for something and there was an event going on that she would normally be having things on the TV with and whatnot, that runs from the desktop. So if she took it, that wouldn't be able to function.
I see. So like a Raspberry Pi?
Could, that would, I mean, it would, if it lived on the guest network, it could be a Raspberry Pi. And it could be whatever they wanna do with it, because it would just be plugged into HDMI. But if it was gonna live on the admin network, we would need to have it as a managed device, so we had antivirus on it, regardless of whether it was a Raspberry Pi or not.
Yeah,
It's just
right,
safer that way.
I agree, yeah.
So, it's the easy way to put it, but, we definitely, can look at that direction, going to laptops, just so long as, I mean, that doesn't bother me at all, just so long as there's the understanding of the caveat of, if she takes it, that issue will exist. So, if that's something that's
Sure.
workable, then
So I got a question, is the software that runs the signage that irreplaceable?
technically, it's not really even software. It's just another, essentially, you can think of it as a monitor that then gets duplicated to all the TVs out there.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's always plugged into her computer
gotcha.
as an additional monitor.
I got you, yeah,
So
I
that's
follow.
why her computer was essentially like this one with a video card and whatnot, so it had more ports and everything.
Okay.
Which,
how new is that computer?
not due for replacement yet, I'd have to look, but
So I was thinking,
it should only be 3, less than 3, yeah, probably 2.5.
No,
Yeah.
it's my old one. Remember you
No, we ended up, I'm pretty sure we ended up buying her a whole new one because yours didn't end up working because it didn't have enough
Oh,
ports.
yeah, mine went to the law library.
Yeah, so it's not that, it has a 5-year warranty and it's maybe halfway-ish probably through that.
So the issue is, she's using her personal laptop for like minutes, Zoom when they do their meetings, things like that.
it gets worse, I'm so sorry,
That needs,
I'm so
No,
sorry,
it's not plumbers,
Address.
right?
it's worse, it's so much worse,
so
I'm so sorry.
in Jordan's, so there was an increase there for the technical support, obviously. The new equipment request was to go up to 78,150. And that was to replace 18 computers. And 4 to 5 tough books at the sheriff's office.
So does that include the addition of the computer Christie's asking for?
Jordan's does not, but you see, I was able to recommend 65, so I'm short, way short. It's like Christie's asked for a desktop or something
But it would be temporary, wouldn't it?
theoretically. I don't know exactly how we do that. So
That's what I was trying to figure out.
she's gonna hire somebody July 1 to get trained up, ready to go. That way when she retires, they're not left in a lurch.
Okay.
So Christie would move to the back office, so they would need something for the person out front.
Which, I mean, we could do a computer with the understanding that it just ends up getting moved to somebody else. It's not tied to her department, do it as, part of an upgrade cycle essentially. And then if, it's gonna be there for a year, it's still gonna have 4 years left. It's a desktop, it's still gonna have 4 years left in its life cycle. And it could just end up replacing one of the computers in there, or it could be moved to another department, I guess, depending on, what the needs were or what computers, need to be replaced. I don't think it needs to be, it can be completely wiped and redone. It doesn't have to be tied to there, so
Okay.
we could do it like that. It would essentially for, that period of time add another device for, the managed service portions of things, but then that could easily come back off. So we could make that part temporary. I think that would probably be the most efficient way to look at it. In the new equipment, the UPSs are absolutely critical. If those die, then we don't have power in the IT room, so,
So how are those different than the battery upgrade that was done?
we added additional battery banks to the UPSs for extended runtime for because we didn't have enough when there were issues where the generator didn't kick on. So those will still work in conjunction. These would just be direct replacements. We'd slide the whole unit out, put the basically the identical unit in. But those are, I don't remember if I put on here how old they are. Yeah, they're basically 10 years old, and they are essentially at their max recommended lifespan for critical infrastructure from APC. So we would basically be at the point where if something happened to one of them, we would be at a super diminished capacity. If anything happened power related, in theory, we would still be running, but and getting these is not always super fast either. They are freight items, so
You know, maybe we need a data center, they can help sponsor some of the $500,000 IT budget. That's
Yeah,
not
that'd be nice.
ideal. Yeah,
there are things like this that obviously aren't gonna happen again for another, 10 years roughly. They unfortunately just come up kinda somewhat, there's always something every year essentially that needs replaced. I mean, in the next couple
We're
of years.
noticing that.
Huh?
We're noticing that.
Yeah, in the next couple of years, it'll end up being the server cluster. I think we have 2 more
Can't wait for
years.
that.
I know, yeah. Especially with the way things have been going price-wise for that kind of stuff.
you can't even buy them, I'm sure.
It's a little bit better right now, but it was, I would say, a couple months ago, it would have been really difficult to get our hands on that kind of stuff again. Because it was bad enough when we did it during the COVID times. It took months to get that stuff, and with the AI crunch and everything else, I'm sure prices are dramatically higher. Because I've been having issues.
Really, at that price spread out over 10 years, it's not that bad.
This price, no. The server cluster, I wanna say when we did that, that was like $150,000-ish. So
I mean, to run our,
that's
All
about
our-
7 years. Yeah, but that does run literally everything, so.
everything.
yeah.
We're not talking about a sheriff's vehicle that'll last maybe 2 years.
I guess, yeah, that's a much different perspective. And it changes things a little bit when you put it that way.
So say, one more time, so server cluster, you don't think we have to do this fiscal year, but
Not the server cluster, no, we still have time. That was when I talked to you the other day about the warranties, I think we still have 2 years left on replacing the hardware for the server cluster. We do, which wasn't in here, my warranty tracking stuff, they had a bug and it gave the wrong years, so when I ran reports on everything to make the budget, it was a year off. So, but in talking to Malcolm, the hope was that we had a little bit left, about $3,600 to do the warranties for another year out of this current budget rather than next budget. And there's a whole other part of that with the VMware portion of things, which is the software that runs the cluster. And they got bought by Broadcom and they're now about 5 times more expensive. So my vote was to move to a different platform that would be much more cost effective, but still suit the needs. VMware is kind of the gold standard, but nobody would know the difference other than me. So in terms of
I
functionality.
appreciate that. I think it's a good call.
Yeah, cause I think we originally would have been looking at a renewal for the licensing for VMware if they hadn't changed things. That would have been, cause when we bought the cluster, Dell owned VMware and their Dell servers. And so they almost gave us VMware for free for 5 years essentially. Because it was in their best interest to upsell us essentially and get us, into the hardware we needed. If Broadcom hadn't acquired it and completely changed the pricing structure, we would be looking at about $5,000-ish, $6,000 for a year. We're currently looking at like 20-something thousand with the way Broadcom changed things for their minimum licensing package for the software to run what we have. They completely cut out all the lower tiers and made it a yearly subscription model. And essentially, if you stop paying for it, you're not allowed to use it anymore. So,
I hate that.
yeah, definitely not keen on that. So when that comes up, that'll be, I think we can wait on that. Malcolm and I talked about it. Essentially, we're just not going to get any updates on the VMware software if we don't do it for a year. And then we can move over to the other platform, which shouldn't be an issue. But we do need to do warranty if possible, whether we put it in the coming budget or take it out of this one, which is 3,600, because should something happen, one of the servers die or whatnot, that'll be exponentially more expensive than $3,600 to have Dell come out and repair it than paying for it.
So I vote we take it out of this year, but I'll need an invoice before next Friday.
I can get you an invoice by tomorrow.
So the hard part, I don't know what we do, so I'm officially saying your problem,
That's fair.
is what we're staring at is I wasn't able to get to the 78 that he requested for equipment. So we're not replacing what we've currently got on the ground. So I don't know how we can do the 35 for onboarding the fairgrounds. Some options would be to use a little bit of library funds for their share of IT. Because currently that's being done by the general fund. So we could dedicate some of those funds to IT. But I think we need to have a discussion with the library board about that. We could do the same with fair, but need to have a discussion with them on that too. So I think that's one. Another option is to not put any money in the capital improvement reserve. I've been trying to set aside essentially a year's payment on a snowplow. Or a 20% of a payment.
20%,
Yeah,
yeah.
20%
on
of a
five-year
snowplow.
deal.
That way, in 5 years, we could buy a snowplow, but,
Yeah.
and so I'm hesitant to do that, but.
You think it's gonna snow again in 5 years?
The rate we're going, probably not.
You know what?
Probably not
Good
either.
call. Let's not put money into it, then I guarantee you it'll snow like crazy.
We'll actually get it. Jenny does have those numbers also, because she asked for them. She said that the fair board was interested in taking a look at whether there would be any possible donors interested in taking care of a portion of that, so. Just to note also, not that we can plan on that, but she did let me know that that was kind of their plan after getting those numbers, so. I haven't heard anything else about it, but. And obviously the 35,000 is to literally do everything out there. To meet the main goal, it would be,
Yeah, give me that number. What out of this
so it would
would meet
be.
that main goal?
Can I look at that real quick? It's just easier, that's probably easier for you. We would need the arena building
Okay,
would be an absolute must, that'd be Jim's building. That would be the main connection point to back here, so
Okay.
that would have to be done.
okay,
The agriplex would need to be done, and then in order to connect everything for the fair software, ag extension would need to be done. The
okay.
rest of these are just technically optional. Especially the,
So with this
The
fair
arena
software and
buildings.
what they're talking about, boom, 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 and we're done?
yeah, we wouldn't have to do the actual arena buildings, or the event building. Jim did say he would really like to have anything in the event building. But from what we need to do for the software portion of things, if we're gonna do it right, those first three things are.
But if you remember our discussion with the fair, she wants to bring those onto the Net2
Yeah.
software.
In talking to Jim, in order to actually truly bring them on, the server lives here. So they would need connection back here. Currently, I believe there's a standalone laptop and they've got to go out there and plug in and reconfigure things, so.
Okay, so we're at 15.3, which is, there's some space in between that and 35.
Absolutely, yep. I just wanted to include everything
I
so that there was a
understand,
whole
I
number.
understand.
It wasn't necessarily an ask, it was more of
No,
an
right.
informational.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah,
And then the actual work that we're talking about would be just to, the benefits of that would be just to provide Wi-Fi publicly?
No, there would be, so it would essentially have the same benefits as like when we rolled on the library. They would have the full access to, servers, any resources that are here.
Yeah, but in other, like in the
Oh,
places.
any other
where-
places?
Yeah.
Say they wanted to put Net2 in for the arena buildings so it's the door access controls.
Oh, okay.
So if they wanted to issue a fob or a code to people for events and stuff, rather than a key, you can track who's coming in, who's going out. In order to do that properly, it needs to be on the network. And public Wi-Fi essentially would be the two main things.
Cameras.
And cameras, yep, cameras would also be another big one, because I expect this to have capacity to be able to potentially link back to this camera system if that thought this server was capable of handling more. It would be a wireless connection from here to the arena building. It would not be a physical connection, but it would have the radios that would be used would have a backup link built into them if the main link got disconnected essentially.
Right.
So they would essentially have the same capabilities as if they were in this building. Same speeds out to the internet, same everything. And I mean, to get it done, we could also even take out the UPS in there. I wouldn't advise it, but it's not critical to making the project happen. It's just,
If it's just access, then maybe it's not worth having.
it protects the equipment in the event of, a power outage from, crazy power spikes, and it also keeps things running for a period of time while the power is out, so.
And that's an acronym for uninterrupted power supply, is that what UPS is?
Correct,
Okay.
yep.
I notice they vary, is it the size of the batteries in them or what they'll hold?
It's
or
the size of the capacity as a whole, so the batteries and
what they'll support?
what they'll support, yeah,
Okay.
so, let's say for instance, like some of them are rated to like 1,500 watts, where some of them are rated to 750 watts.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much you plug into them also, there's a whole calculation for runtime and stuff like that. The smaller ones, the smaller locations, they don't need as much, they got a smaller switch, they're not gonna be running power through the switches to support, phones and stuff. Potentially, but if I didn't necessarily expect the UPSs to be providing power to cameras, so.
Right.
At least on the smaller buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I did spec them, essentially, each one of those locations minus the connection back to here or to each other would be like one of the network closets upstairs.
And to me, those UPSs are basically about data saving, to where you don't lose this or lose that.
Lose this or lose that, or lose the physical equipment.
Yeah,
In a way, they can become sacrificial if there's a big event. They do have surge protection built into them in addition to, the uninterrupted power. But they essentially are a fancy power strip, so if we were if we really needed to do this project, they could come out to make it happen, but it wouldn't be super advisable. We basically could lose equipment, not saying we would or wouldn't, it's literally a coin toss. But,
the
in
top
terms of
three things
function,
at the fair, what's the timeline on that what's the timeline to do that? From material acquisition to finish to, what's that look like?
done with all of them probably by the end of the year.
Okay.
Honestly. Some of that hardware is not the easiest to acquire sometimes, specifically the wireless links, it really depends.
Yeah, because I wasn't asking you to put yourself in a box, I was just.
Right, yeah, no, I would say, theoretically, the end of the year
Right.
would be likely. If we can get the equipment and we needed to do it faster, we could probably push faster, but I'd say that would be the most reasonable timeline without knowing how available things are currently.
So at the 65, Malcolm, how much are we short?
13,000,
How much?
13,000, because he requested 78, which would be for the 18 computers, 4 desktop, or 4 tough books for the sheriff's office. That includes a little buffer for computers with higher specs, but we could probably cut that and get us to 73. So,
And that would include one laptop for the fair repair,
No,
or none?
I think we would just prioritize those 18, that one would be,
okay.
Okay.
One of those 18 would become one laptop for the ferry.
and one would become a Christie computer.
I think that's fair.
We eliminated one public terminal for land records in order to cut down the monthly charge, but
And so that monthly charge comes out of tech support?
Mhm. Yeah, it's the,
And is that why
Yes.
you raised it?
yeah, because he said he had that 3% for workstations, 5% for servers. So theoretically,
it
you
should be
could probably,
3% for both of them.
you could cut that down to 200, so you could get your new equipment to 70, then you'd be short by 3.
That section, I did round that section. It's so, in my calculation for my portion of things of the IT technical support came out to about 196, but I did round it to 205 because there are device additions and stuff that does change throughout
So
the
that
year.
205 would cover the extra Christie computer?
Yeah, so if we were,
Because,
yes, it would, that 205 already has a buffer built into it for adding additional computers and stuff, because it always seems that
with
happens.
those 18 new computers, we're gonna put a new one in, take it over now.
Correct, that didn't account for an addition, it was just replacements,
But
but
now
the
we're
IT
gonna make an
technical support
addition,
does have a buffer built into it to include that at 205. Because that section also includes like the Microsoft 365 and stuff like that, and that always fluctuates, so
Yeah.
there's a pretty good give or take sometimes depending on what's added and what's removed. And obviously I did put the spending portion of things in there too, that's why it's a much higher increase than normal. But, you know, that didn't exist on my budget request last year.
So we kind of know where we're at, I guess.
And
So what would you like to do? I guess, where would you place higher priority? Without, for you guys, would it be bringing those fair pieces on to the tune of 20,000?
15.3, yeah.
Or, getting that new equipment closer to the 78?
I think we might have to have a conversation with the fair board and see what. And the
They wanna
library,
chip in.
and the library to see if we can do that first.
That's where yeah.
How many computers does the library need?
they currently have, here, there's 8 admin workstations for the staff and I wanna say 8 public terminals. Plus then there's 2 public terminals in Guernsey, an admin, would be 16, 19. I think there's 21 computers in total. Some of the public computers, which we discounted, so those are different, but from the IT support standpoint. I don't know, in what I've seen so far, I'm not sure that all 8 here are necessary. When we were kind of having some issues, I was basically told the ones we replaced in a hurry downstairs basically were never used, so
So
I'm
my
not-
point,
I'm not 100% sure, and I can't really judge the usage, but I would say 4 is probably closer to need
yeah,
for admin workstations over there. But they've all, literally all of them have just been replaced within the last, year and a half, so they've got another,
So you have the upstairs ones replaced now then?
oh yeah, they've been replaced for weeks.
So that still goes back to wants and needs. How we cut this up. Does that make sense?
UPSs are definitely a need, we don't want those to die.
Right. Now, what I'm talking
Here,
about, fair, and how many here, and how many,
Do we repurpose the one? That's where I go. If we're talking about we can't provide stuff that's necessary for other people to do their job, and how many public terminals do you need, or how many workstations do you need legitimately?
Mhm.
how many cars do you need in your garage that you never drive?
Yeah.
My opinion, zero.
Well, I mean, that's
But yeah, no.
that's another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
No, that's,
No, I agree with you.
And I do think they reduced 2 public terminals, didn't they?
In
Yeah.
theory, yes, it was more of a, based off of how much money was available at that point in time to buy them decision, and that's been fine, I think we did, there was 2 somewhere else that didn't need 2 anymore, I believe, and then there was the one here, I wanna say. And I could be off by a device or 2 somewhere, but
The library used to have 8 public access computers.
plus the card catalog
Yeah.
computer, so yes, I think they did reduce 2 here for public.
But maybe a conversation at the next meeting, which is also your budget hearing meeting, by the way, about a reduction in, are the ones in the basement able to be repurposed? I think would be the question.
Yeah,
laptops or desktops?
they're desktops. Yep, they're just like well, I'm trying to think of any of them you guys have seen, probably haven't, but they're
Oh, yeah, the red box over there.
they're black
So-
box, about yay big with 2 Wi-Fi antennas
Yeah.
poking out of them.
Yeah.
They're, I wanna say a year and a half for those ones downstairs at most. So they, another 3.5 years somewhere if we were to move some of them.
So yeah, I think we're gonna have a conversation with the library on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Cause I do have 43,000 in fair fund, or library funding dedicated, in addition to their mill levy, in addition to their fees they collect, but, that's for library services. But,
And I don't know, just another note, I don't know exactly how it falls or whatnot, but, I mean, we did essentially double up the software portion of things for Cats and Tyler Tech, so I'm not sure if we're gonna save any of that or not yet, but
hopefully,
it is, both were budgeted for, and in theory, with any luck, we won't be using all of that, which
Yeah.
was a pretty significant chunk, I think.
40,000.
Yeah.
so we just paid Tyler, so this fiscal year we planned on paying both. So we had that overlap, and I'm 90% confident we're not gonna need the Tyler payment next year. But I'll feel a lot better come Christmas.
Is, my thought is that if, kind of on a contingent, if it's not needed and it comes back, I guess maybe that's a good category to maybe have to, we're shuffling things around, put something, in there that money might come back.
And maybe that's how we proceed with it, is we leave it at 65 for the, look, I said it was your problem. So we leave it at 65, and then around December, similar to the jail pod reno, look at where we're at with Cats, and if everything's fully onboarded, we're feeling comfortable, give our notice to quit on Tyler, and then we can move some of that funding to equipment. And it will also tell us if you're on pace to get 18
done.
or 23 total replaced
Yeah, with adding others.
with the tough books.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And so it'll tell us if Jordan's on pace, and it will tell us if we're safe to get rid of Tyler. So maybe that is the solution.
Yeah.
Let's push it until we feel more comfortable.
What's that feel like?
But I think we still have a conversation with
Been pushing it
the fair and library, specifically fair about the
Yes.
onboarding.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Anything else with Jordan?
I got nothing.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, guys. Sorry to make things so complicated for you all the time.
You
When it comes to money.
You are a computer guy.
Yeah, you are a computer guy.
Trust me, I didn't enjoy sitting down and doing those numbers either, so.
It's expensive. Everything has ballooned. I agree.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's gotten exponentially worse over the last 5 years, something I never expected to happen that fast, so.
Yeah. What do they say about Moore's law? The cost of compute goes down 10 times for every how many years? Cost of
That's-
compute's going up.
Yeah, yeah.
Baloney.
It's just the nature of the world now, and the way things have happened and the way people have gone about things, unfortunately. Because it's a lot cheaper to actually build than it used to be.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys, thank you.
See you, Jordan.
Paul, can you hear us okay? Well, we can't, you're muted, my friend. Okay.
We got you now.
Wow.
There we go. Steve just left the room for a minute. Yeah, he hung it up. He said, forget it.
Not because of you, Paul.
No, he's coming. And then you said there were. So Paul, you said you thought there were 3 ways to do this. The first was housing does its own audit, then roll it into the counties. 2, have housing be part of the county's engagement. What was the third one? Oh, okay. So. if we, yeah, so if they were rolled up as part of our engagement, it would be presented as a component unit, just the same way the library and fair are, correct? Yes. Okay. So what's the cons of having them? What's the cons of having them as part of our audit and not doing it on their own? So I would advocate that they're part of our engagement. I think for Paul's purposes, have him bill us directly for the whole thing.
Do you guys currently get an audit each year?
And then we could have that, I would advocate that we absorb it personally. It's a board that you appoint, it's your property really, and you appoint them to manage your property. And it would be our financial stake in it, I would say. So that would be what I'd advocate, but either way, for Paul's purposes, I think option 2, and then billing us directly, Paul, would be the best route, in my opinion.
I'd agree.
Okay. Yeah, we chose to hit the million in one shot this year. We had that WCDA grant for 16th Street,
Oh, gosh.
$1 million on the nose. But the good news is it was no match, so now Uncle Sam's taking it from us.
That's right, yeah. As long as it's going to Paul, I'm fine with that.
Do you guys have any concerns?
No, that was our concern, because
Yeah.
that would bring us down to a $10,000 cushion in case something else goes wrong, and we're just so
I think,
tight.
yeah, your financial position's tighter than ours by a long way, so, yeah.
You know, and I know everybody shares this frustration. I do think the Department of Audit is correct, that it should be part of our audit. But the unfortunate thing is now and not 20 years ago. And so the fact that the Department of Audit says, thou shalt do this and we shall not give you any support,
Yeah.
that's always tough, but that's not your fault. So,
You guys have been doing a great job other than that, though. I mean, completely outside of that, don't envy your position.
It's been tight a few times, but.
Yes.
thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
We do? No. I was joking like it was news that we had an election this year. Yeah, we'll coordinate.
That actually might work out better for us, Paul, than you might think, if we have auditors in the courthouse on election day. How timely is your recommendation?
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paul.
Paul.
Other than that, things are going good out there.
Right now, yeah. It's been a crazy, we've replaced 50% of our tenants in the last 12 months.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So we had a $20,000 loss last year because one person for
Yeah.
maintenance man cannot turn over 10 apartments, 12 apartments
Yes.
in 12 months without losing some revenue.
You know, that's, on the other side of that though, when we turn over tenants, it costs us a lot more money. So you guys are obviously doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, and most of them, the hardest part, not only him not turning them over, is that most of them were long-term
Mhm.
tenants. So when you, $5,000 to replace carpet and vinyl
Yeah, exactly.
per apartment,
Yes.
plus the loss of revenue.
Mhm.
We're nip and tuck on our appliances, we're really, I budgeted really, really close, 1 refrigerator, 2 washers, 2 air
Yeah.
conditioners, that's it, out of 28. Just because I know those are going down, we know we'll probably replace those. Our cushion is not very much, but they're all 20 years old.
Yeah.
So we're kind of holding our breath that nothing else happens. So I don't know, but we're holding our own for the most part. We're paying our bills. We haven't had, 2 years ago, this is where we changed over with the insurances. 2 years ago, we had to borrow money just to pay for our insurance.
Mhm.
And that's tough because you pay the insurance and you've got another,
A note.
so we've got that paid off and I could use some help. And that's helped to boost the cash flow, but if we hire somebody else, which eventually we're gonna have to.
Clarification to, the loss of tenants, the turnover is not because they don't like us or something's wrong and they leave, it's death or the nursing home.
I wasn't gonna ask.
Yeah.
And I didn't cause it, honestly.
I'm not responsible.
For everybody listening on YouTube, it's a wonderful, it's not the housing's fault. It's Father Time.
Father time.
Get out of it.
So we lose them and usually a lot of times wonderful tenants,
Oh, yeah.
long-term tenants and it's tough and the time frame to get those apartments redone, you lose money.
You do.
And you don't have the cushion to lose it. So I
Graduation day is
compliment our
expensive.
director.
What's that?
Graduation
board,
day, when they graduate from there to
oversight.
wherever, is expensive.
Yes, yeah. So, okay, well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you,
You guys.
thank you very much.
Keep afloat here. Hopefully, we won't have to bother you too much for.
I hope though, if you do, that you do, if you need something from us.
Yeah.
I do have one question.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Malcolm a little bit about it. Candy kind of works for you guys and always before, well, when we put the brick on, which was how many years ago, you guys let us use her at your expense to try to find us a grant. And what we'd like to do is try to find a grant that will help us replace some of those appliances. I think I've got about 12 or maybe 15, what we count at 98 appliances in 28 apartments. That's the air conditioner, the stove, the refrigerator, the hot water heaters. $1,000 to $2,000 a piece, depending on the appliance. If she can find a grant for us, I don't know, we may have to have you guys sponsor it or anything, but we'd like to kind of talk to her.
If you can convince her to go to work for you, we can talk about it. But yeah, she's been fantastic, but she's been kind of on a.
So what I'm thinking is the Intertie grant
Oh yeah.
would probably be a
Yes.
likely source.
Yes.
And Candy's been able to do that with a handful of hours so I would advocate that we ask her to do it on our behalf, because I do think we might have to apply. Given that it's technically the county's building. But, I'm happy to have that conversation with her. And then,
Seems like for those type of things, there may be some energy efficient grants of some sort that would fall into that category too.
and I don't think Intertie will get us all the way there to have all of them replaced in one shot, but I think it'll at least put a dent in it.
Right, right.
Anything would help. Grant would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's some energy efficiency ones or.
I just, like I say, we're just walking a tightrope because they're so old. And the washers we kind of pushed, we had another, we have 2 washers that we bought at the same time, and they're 12, almost 13 years old, and they're just hanging on. So I kind of pushed them till after July 1st to the new budget area, and we know those are gonna have to be replaced immediately.
We hate to have them washing their t-shirts in the kitchen sink.
And it makes you feel like you're kicking a can down the road, but you don't have any choice.
Well, yeah,
To a
exactly, yeah.
You talked about wants and needs earlier, and that's definitely something that we have to talk about every month.
I keep going back to like when we're talking to people about the budget this year and stuff, and the services that the county provides, I wonder if, I keep going back to going, is there any way to get like private involvement in it or something like that, community outreach for, hey, there's a need here. I don't know how well supported that would be or how you would go about it, but I keep going back to, man, there should be a way to do this with the community also. You see what I mean? I don't know, maybe you put like donate 50 cents after you buy groceries to the, instead of going to the, I don't know, Global Food Initiative for Children in Asia.
Yeah.
Something like that, but, or there's some other community outreach and go, oh man, it seems like a great time for the community to support the community.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll have to brainstorm a little bit more.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
commissioners, thank you so
Appreciate
much.
your time and everything you do. Okay.
You think, like, you could present something to say next there?
That's what I keep thinking, all these guys are trying to buy goodwill, I'm like,
I mean, where they were basically turned down for donations to Chippewa Chili for other reasons. They want to help out here.
yeah.
I don't think they turn them down.
Here's minutes from the moment.
Thank you.
And then, would you re-sign that? I had a typo I didn't catch. Stream of consciousness, apparently.
This is our asbestos stuff here.
Yeah, for the courthouse remodel.
Well, they got 2 separate ones, right?
So if you're ready, are you ready to move on to it?
Yeah.
So I've got, so this is in relation to the courthouse phase 2 renovation. The abatement, there's supposed to be a separation between the contractor and the person doing the abatement to verify that it's done, right? So it's outside of Sampson's contract. So we need to work directly with somebody, an ATS, Asbestos and Technical Services, is who we've worked with for everything, to include phase 1, the Coleman building. I mean, anything we've done, we've used them, they've been great. And so their estimate for abatement in the roofing materials is just north of 47,000, thank you.
Now here's the bill I thought would be more in line with what the Coleman building was. You know, $1,500, oh good. Now this one is more like,
Honestly, I thought this, and when I started looking at the, how many square foot, the slope, and, and all of that, and what it is, I thought, man, this could run 75K.
yeah.
I really thought that.
And then
I'm glad I missed it.
Yes.
the second one is for lead testing. I should go back a little bit. So
Sorry.
This did include some lead abatement as well.
You get like some poor 5-year-old to go lick the paint, see if it tastes sweet.
I don't know how they do it,
That's
they
good.
charge $925 to test it,
That's
so.
good enough to eat.
Well, here's the thing, I see mobilization on both.
Yeah.
Why is that? I would ask.
I don't know, and I can work with them to see if they would
That would be a question I would have.
be able to do both. What I wonder is that they'll have to do,
Different people.
so this first one, the one that you're looking at now for lead testing,
Mm-hmm.
is that white louver on the east side of the building, the attic louver. So their timing's gonna somewhat depend on when that, they keep calling it a donkey. Whatever the thing is they're hanging over the side of the building with, when it's there so they can get down to test it. And then the abatement would be as they're working their way around, because obviously they can't abate and just have this gaping hole in the building.
No.
So I think you're gonna I don't think we can avoid mobilizing twice.
So that's just for that louver.
On the east side.
It's a lot bigger than that though.
Can we collect a sample?
But you know, $450 is just the mobilization.
Can we?
That's
collect-
windshield time.
Yeah,
That's basically what that is.
So $475 is so $225 is the sample collection, then $150 to write the report.
So can we collect a sample? I mean,
I'm not qualified.
so what's the risk that we don't abate the lead?
Well,
I mean, if there's lead
you okay to
in
come in?
it,
Yep.
is there
Please.
abatement?
How are you?
Goes
I'm
on
well,
with
Rick with
Oh, good to meet you. So,
Yeah,
I think we,
I don't think they would allow it.
that? You don't think so?
I don't think so. Well, because they would have to verify exactly where it came from.
Okay.
So, you know, if we were to give them something that didn't actually come from there, then where you at?
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, but I'm going the right way to do it is the risk's on us to do it well.
Yeah.
And because, or else we get sued or something like that for lead. Whatever, I'm not sure.
I think we check with them on the mobilization. See if we can't work something out so we can do it both at the same time.
And I don't know if they can or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they can or not.
so that, you know, that's gonna be the initial discussion is
Yeah,
going
we
to
don't.
That's what we're talking.
the initial discussion will be on Thursday, because we'll have to ask Sampson. They may have more insight as to whether that's possible, because the abatement of the roof is gonna be the question mark, because you can't just abate that and leave a hole.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have.
Well, it's a bait and then it's go back. It's a bait and go back because it can't stay uncovered. You know, that's what drives that number because they can't do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
And that's the timeline thing with Sampson as well, and scaffolding and all of that. I mean, that's how all this mixes together. Is that deal right there.
They're part of the demo crew.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be a whole lot worse if it was interior, I tell you that,
Yeah.
than outside.
Yes. Oh, I was surprised it was $5 a square foot.
So do we want to approve these today?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, and just ask for the question on, you know, the mobilization. It is what it is, but
Yeah,
that's,
it's really peanuts.
but it's a good question, can they mobilize at the same time? I have a feeling your next meeting I'll give you a similar answer, but I will be happy to ask it. All I know is Sampson is hot to get this one
The
approved.
47.
Yes.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the estimates for testing and abatement services presented.
I so move.
no, I would second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2 estimates for testing and abatement services presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Steve. Well, put together motion you have there.
Okay, our communications tower.
So
Hello.
with Absolute Solutions yesterday promised he has good news, because he only gives good news on Tuesdays, right?
I don't think I used good. I said I would have news. And let me introduce Russ Reisig. Russ is my concrete contractor. I am out of Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and I'm gonna give you a little history because we're gonna shift from absolute to action communications. So I started at the Motorola shop in Gearing, Nebraska in 1977. In 1993, Kent is the guy you usually deal with, started Action Communications. Throughout the next number of years, we acquired the original Motorola shop in Gearing and the Motorola shop known as Absolute Solutions in Cheyenne. And then a year and a half ago, I retired. So Kent owns everything, and now I'm not an owner of the company. When we do this project, I'm an employee of the company. So I'm not quite sure why Kent wants to run it through Action. The only thing I can think of is Action has the dealership with Sabre Towers. And and the fact that I'm a employee and under that umbrella for workman's comp, et cetera. So that's a little bit of the history. We did a walkthrough of the area that we're proposing to build it. And it's going to be a challenge to build it there, but I believe it's the right spot to build it at. And maybe you can explain where that is going to be?
Yeah, it's just back there in the corner where we were looking.
Okay.
We talked about putting it around the corner at the end of the parking area, but I think we'd still be too close to the power lines
Yeah.
and stuff like that for the
We
offset,
looked at
so
it that day, that's what we thought.
they want to move it back around into that corner.
Right here?
Yeah,
Right here,
Yeah, right here,
Like where that scaffolding fence is in the corner?
with the gravel.
yep, just
Yeah.
right
Okay,
out here, out
above the blister, as Eric would say,
above the blister.
above the blister.
So we'll need to move some rock and do access and stuff like that, but still
So,
it shouldn't impact the landscaping out on the lawn front.
Right there.
And it was, what, a 6-foot hole or 10-foot hole you have to dig?
10 by 10.
I actually have, I want to clear up one thing, just to make sure we don't have a misunderstanding. It is my understanding that you guys have authorized us to build a 75-foot straight tower, not a 55.
55-foot taper,
Was what we,
and then, but engineered with a 75-foot base so that should the FAA give full approval on 75,
we could go on up.
Well, Kent has, I'm gonna throw Kent under the bus. I wish he'd have been here. That is not the tower that I was under the impression that we were getting. It is a
straight.
straight tower.
With guy poles?
No,
Guy wires?
no, it's totally capable of handling your load.
Okay.
Is it okay to come up here?
Yeah.
Don't want to,
Yeah, you look like you're friendly.
tell you say no to me. And if you flip that over, you can see the foundation.
Okay.
So that foundation is a 10-foot by 10-foot square that is located underground, and then it has a pier that comes up.
We were looking at 21-foot with the tapered tower.
So this is a
Smaller footprint.
smaller footprint.
Base.
I mean, yeah, we couldn't put it back there, we'd have to find another home.
That other tower was a
I
21-foot.
think it was 21-foot
I
base.
thought it was 12.
Was it 12?
No, I thought it was 12.
So typically, I won't even say typically, a Sabre tower always starts life as an uneven number, meaning you either have a 7, 9, or 11-foot footprint. And every 20 feet, it tapers 2 feet. So if you started with a 9-foot footprint, then at 20 feet up, you'd be at 7, and then at 5, and then at 3, and then you could go the rest of the way up with 3 feet.
Okay.
So I do know they proposed both,
They did.
but I really thought I saw an email. Who's working with the FAA? Is that you, Malcolm?
That's me.
I don't know how,
So my question is if we went with this tower, straight tower,
uh-huh.
can we go 50 feet and then when we get approval, go on up 20 more
Yes.
feet?
Yes.
That's all we want to do.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I would stay a lot more streamlined back in that corner. I put a lot of those bases in for High West Energy down in Pine Bluffs. We've done a lot of work.
I mean, I like
And we've done a lot of vertical.
smaller footprint of this one.
Okay.
For our.
If it'll handle the load, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I see this real quick?
I don't know what your load is.
So I mean.
It's
we're-
kind of
How-
So
certification on the tower.
part of the issue was all that internet communications that's on the peak of the roof. I don't know if you remember seeing that or not. At this point in time, it's not called for going to the tower. The hope was there was a tower with sufficient capability or that would allow the moving some of that equipment over there at some point.
Would you call that, Jay, candelabra or?
Yeah, put a candelabra on it eventually, but
So there's how this tower is spec'd. Now, you can always unring a bell. I ordered that 75-foot tower this morning,
Straight tower?
straight tower. It's certainly not too late if we don't agree upon that, but I ordered a 75-footer.
And that's a 10 we can deliver? 8 to 10?
Well, yes.
Okay.
yeah, that's
Get that, right.
So this is what
What's that?
Kent provided us previously.
Yep.
Regarding the tapered tower, that it'd be a 17 foot
17 foot.
6, but it'd
Okay,
be,
trying to see, well, this is when I was talking dimension, I was talking leg to leg. Can you go up? Does it have anything? Keep going up. No, that's
so I'll show you, I'll go to the very beginning. There's some emails, but
so that's the straight tower.
yeah.
That's one you can go with either base, either one.
So this particular tower here, go ahead and go up a little bit.
6 foot side.
Well, this doesn't really talk about tower loading.
how many antennas are on that one?
So go ahead and go up or down.
Well, it says
whichever.
it'll handle 115 mile an hour wind speed and 150, or 65 mile an hour with ice.
So- One issue that I have, and maybe because I haven't seen that, is
Yeah, let him look at that.
this
Well, that's
has,
the same design, that's the same.
this calls out one antenna. Okay, never mind. We're good.
Yeah,
That says 116 mile an hour wind speed.
What's it call out for antennas?
3.
And so that was your concern, you thought it only had one.
so,
So I would actually prefer that tower.
I would, yeah.
Prefer the smaller tower.
If it'll hold all the antennas that we need to hold.
so this
I
has
think they
three.
have 7 antennas on the rough map.
And how many of those will we have to, we're not gonna keep all 7 though, are we?
Probably, yeah, with all the different,
Did you read everything here?
no,
So each level tells how many antennas.
oh, each level, okay.
So there's a sidearm kit. Or it's designed to have a candelabra at a couple different levels. So can you add up how many antennas are there? No, on this,
Oh, no,
a lot.
3 foot sidearms.
So is it just any antenna or is there, I mean,
It is the communications antenna that is our preferred antenna is called a DB224. That is a 20-foot aluminum antenna. And it probably has more wind loading than most antennas. So if it's spec'd for that, did you ever figure out how many there is?
No, I didn't.
It's like 3 at the top and 3 at the next section.
So there's,
So those 3 at the top was probably assuming it was going to be 75 feet.
yeah,
22.
so we can put 22 antennas on it?
So when it says 6-foot sidearms, 3 6-foot sidearms.
Yep.
Those are antennas.
No, that's like a candelabra.
Okay, so everything that says DV 224 is just antennas.
Those are antennas.
So that's 13.
13 antennas.
And at the very top level, is that at 75 feet?
75.6.
I'm going to, do you think it's probable that you're gonna get that top 20 feet?
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to get the FAA off center, but I think it's probable.
So just shipping alone on the top 20 feet was $5,000. They're gonna run a dedicated truck from Iowa to here.
Ship it all at the same time. We can either put it up.
If you approve the 75, that's my, yeah, I know.
So what's the cost of the top?
There you go.
5.
I believe it's $3,000.
So,
So it's, get it, we don't use it, we'll
Exactly.
set it up somewhere else.
Yeah, it saves you $2,000 getting there.
they saves you $2,000 anytime, no
Well,
matter how you.
in other words, if after the tower's built, you call us and say, we wanna do this, so you get 3 plus 5, that's 8,000. Where right now you're wasting perhaps 3,000.
What-
But it doesn't, if the base is gonna be the same, my labor to put up the tower is gonna be the same, because I'm gonna put it all together, bring a crane in and stand it up. Obviously, if I gotta bring a crane in the next time, there'll be,
But we should know by then anyway, hopefully.
yes.
They said 45 days and that was 15 days ago,
There you go.
so.
It'll take longer than that for the concrete to cure.
Now, who said 45 days?
The FAA.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say,
It's
I
45
hope I
days.
didn't commit.
No, it's 45 days for an FAA determination on whether we can do a 75 or 55-foot tower.
Okay.
I
Go
have
ahead,
a
Russ.
question. Well, I'm the foundation guy, but we've put up about 70 of these different towers together, If, what's the length you're ordering right now, 55 feet? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think
That's what they've,
that's what we can put up now. what we
Okay,
wanna
and the
do.
next section is how big?
20 feet.
Okay, can you have that made in 2 10-foot sections?
Oh, you could.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is in case FAA comes back and says you can only make it 65
Oh.
feet, you're already there. And you got one 10-foot section. We don't have to have it machined or cut off and then we gotta re-tie everything back. If they build it in 2 pieces,
I don't think the FAA will do that. It'll be a yay or nay.
Yeah, it'll be a yes or no. We need to go
And-
55.
Man, Sabre, getting things out of Sabre right now, they are so busy with every cell company getting stuff from them. I don't wanna, I mean, if we gotta go to this other 3-legged tower,
So if,
well, even if we had to go with a hot shot and bring it in here with a hot shot, it wouldn't cost $5,000.
That's what I'm thinking too.
what's a hot shot?
That's a guy with a
Independent.
Dodge pickup with a 40-foot flatbed.
You're typically driving
And
like.
no logbook.
No, exactly, and no logbook. Right.
so I would say order the.
I just ordered,
I think that is prudent,
And
and
if
I feel like I have some egg on my face because somehow between Kent and I, we've had a miscommunication.
At the end of the day, the foundation's smaller and the tower still works. That to me is a win.
Yes, this is a 36-inch face tower, and who ended up with that document?
So it just goes 36 inches straight up.
Straight up. And from a radio guy, not a tower erector's guy's point of view, a straight tower is a lot easier to add antennas to, because if you have a tapered tower, you gotta have a more expensive mount.
For your skew and the mount.
Yeah, everything has to be compensated for, and it turns a $100 attachment into a $600 attachment.
So is there, what's the difference in the price of the towers alone? I would think the straight would be cheaper than the tapered tower.
I haven't been involved in pricing it. Rhiannon priced it, and
What's the straight tower run? You just ordered it.
well, I know what it cost me, but I'm not comfortable saying what Rhiannon's charging you. I mean, there are so many components before it's all said and done.
But I just assume.
I'm gonna have to buy Russ at least 3 steak dinners to get him to do it.
I just assume that this straight tower is probably cheaper than taper tower, cause it's not that
That's
material.
a lot less engineering on it.
I don't know that I would go that way. I'm gonna explain this document. Can you scroll, yeah, right here. So scroll down, we wanna start at the bottom of this tower, that's good. So on this tower, this bottom section, bottom 20 feet, weighs 1,000 pounds. So each section, even though it's straight, they are built out of a thinner material. So this is 1.5 inch solid rod. So if you go down to the very bottom,
There's 2 inch
2
solid
inch
rod.
on.
2-inch solid rod. So it doesn't appear to be tapered, but it is somewhat tapered.
But is the taper one built in a similar fashion?
No,
It's made out of the same material, bottom to top.
I didn't commit that design to memory, but I will tell you in most, can you go to the other tower? Why guess when I have it right here?
Yeah.
So this is 9 feet. Remember I said they go
Tubing.
in odd increments? So this bottom section weighs 1490. This will be a 4-inch outer diameter pipe, hollow.
Hollow pipe.
This lattice work bolts together, so it's angle lattice. And so at each junction, you have bolts tying it all together. So if you go up to where it goes straight here, so this is still pipe. How do I know that?
This is OD by 276 thickness.
Okay.
That's still pipe going at the top.
So this was a total pipe tower with bolt together lattice. And you have, so this was, in this design, and so I don't know when Kent or when Rhiannon sent this to you, but this is an 80-foot tower. And so there have been obviously a lot of things changed from when this was, but really the whole concept doesn't change. But if you look up here, you see that this tower actually doesn't have as much
Your ice now.
winding, and it didn't come up with near as many antennas on it. If you go up above this, maybe it's down, I'm sorry. Should be just at the top of this. I think it was just below here. I don't, that's normally on this page is where it's at. Perhaps they never actually did more than
So we couldn't put any antennas on that. Let's just forget that.
It doesn't say so on the plans.
well, you don't get a set of P&E stamp drawings until you place an order. I mean, you gotta pay for that, which they'll paint it with a broad brush. Let's talk about the timeline. I heard you say how important timelines was. When do you need it done? Let's start with that, and then I don't have to tell you any fibs.
August 15th.
How about September 15th?
How about
How
July
about
15th?
September 1? If
Well,
we're gonna sell a used car, let's start.
Yeah.
Here-
Shit.
here's a challenge that we have. I really don't want to find a new concrete guy. Russ and I can do this job, and we'll talk about fishing more than this tower. I mean, we just don't need to talk about the tower. Russ happens to also be a county commissioner in Scottsbluff County. Tell him what your schedule's like and why you are gonna.
It's really gotten busy. We didn't ban fireworks last night, so my phone calls have picked up considerably.
You want my phone?
Yeah, we have our,
We just keep them banned.
you guys, you have tax protests coming up. I don't know how Wyoming does. We have our tax
We
protests
have-
starting.
Yeah.
I was gonna show Rick before we left the house. I wrote it on the back of my packet last night. I've got about 10 days this month, scheduled. And we won't know until the end of the month, but we've got 42 scheduled protests right now. We're gonna try to work those through in June, you know, but I think we've got 3 weeks scheduled for next month. 2 years ago, we had 1,200 protests, we had 13 12-hour days straight in a row that we,
What is
I mean, it was like,
protest?
You guys are charging too much tax.
well, hell, I know we are, but it's our schools. If we could have a countywide school system like you guys do, it would be great.
I've been a
But you got
commissioner
city of Scottsbluff or
for 16
Scottsbluff
years,
schools.
I've had one protest in 16 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we had 1,200 that year. And what we have down there is, you know, or the Scottsbluff School District, they got Walmart, they've got Menards, they've got Home Depot, they tax all that out in the county. All you got's farmers and little tiny businesses, and they're trying to run 4 other school districts, we have 5 altogether. We're trying to run them other school districts and keep up with the Joneses and paying it with farmers' wages. It don't work. And I'm telling you, we got protests coming out of our ears, it's because of the rural areas. If we would have a countywide school district and we taxed everything into one district, divided it and split that pool, Scottsbluff would have to stop spending, Gearing would have to stop spending, and we'd have money in these little towns that we could survive with. And so that's where our tax, but anyway, that's.
So you're having
there.
fun.
So that we do have tax protests. I'll show you if you guys got a minute, I wanna show you what we've come up with, or what our new assessor came up with for, he did a pie chart for everybody's graph, show you what your, how your taxes are.
That's-
It's slick as can be.
We do that also, it's my favorite thing, it's my favorite thing to show people.
Where all the taxes go.
Yeah, that's what I like them to see, but see, they only can see their town. If you live in Morrill, you only see that school district, you don't see the other 4 school districts. So
Yeah.
in Morrill, it shows that we're 23%, the county's 23%. But it doesn't show that schools work 8 months out of the year, and we've got 3 businesses, our sheriff's department, comm center, and our, the jail, are 24/7, 365. And we're working at it for $15 million, we're running the whole shebang, and there's a lot going on in our county, you know.
15 million?
15.5 we run our county on.
Okay,
So we got a big road and bridge, pardon?
good job.
Where are you guys, what's your tax ask here approximately?
You talking about what taxes?
Your tax ask, we're just a county.
The county's,
The total county budget?
yeah,
Just county budget, are you,
Depends on what we're doing around here, but normally it's probably 12.
So this,
so you guys aren't, and we got
I
35,000
know.
residents, you guys
No.
around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
85?
And so I mean, for what we do, we're on a pretty tight budget, we got 65 miles of asphalt we gotta maintain, and we've been chip sealing, and I mean, we got a ton of stuff, I don't know how many miles you guys have.
No, you guys are doing a good
Yeah,
job.
for what we've got, and, you know, we put in, we've had 9 bridges, I started on there 5.5 years ago, and we had 9 bridges closed where I got, and every bridge is open now.
Yeah.
But I've been a contractor for 50 years, I've owned my own business for 50 years, and I run it just like I run my business, I'm over the road and bridge and over the building grounds.
So Jim, what does that do if we said September 15th? Is that the,
It gives them a date that they
So-
can work around.
so is that
Because that
the
was.
tower completed or is that the foundation completed?
no, Russ, do you think you can commit to having the foundation in by August 15th? Or do we,
I don't know, Rick, like I said, until I get to those tax protests, if I didn't have this extra job like you fellows have there, you know, and ours is kind of a killer this time of year, you know, we're doing budgets, we're starting budgets now too, probably.
Oh, yeah.
You don't use any concrete setting modifiers, do you, on anything like this?
Any what?
Setting modifiers to where you don't have to wait 28 days, you know, the additives for this and that.
I would like to see them wait at least 14 to 20 days on that if they could, is what I'd like to see. But we use a heavy enough concrete, we've never had any problem.
Okay.
All I use is state highway mix and 47B highway mix. I use the best concrete
Okay.
I can buy. That's all I got to sell is a good product.
Right.
Labor's labor.
I was trying to read, I'm sure my old eyes are having a little hard time.
You wanna borrow these?
No, I don't wanna admit I'm old.
He's still
You just
vain,
did.
he's still vain enough to not need glasses. When you
Actually,
have vanity,
You just.
actually, I
Stop
had
speaking.
cataract surgery.
oh, there you go. So usually it goes, if you're, once
So-
your
so it-
curiosity outstrips your vanity, you get glasses.
It's spec'd at 45.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you know,
That's what
if we had a date of September 15th, 10/1, September, whatever.
Are you talking
Yes,
about
it-
full completion on that?
Well, I'm talking to where it doesn't interfere with their access with their brick guys to get around there with scaffolding and that kind of thing, and having a hole there versus having, you know, concrete there. Is the tower standing?
You're
What
doing
does that
brickwork
look
over
like?
there is what you're doing?
What's
You're
that?
doing brickwork over there is what you're doing?
Yeah,
We're
they
doing
are.
the entire exterior.
The entire exterior.
320, and
Can they do that before we come in?
I don't know what, do
Did
you
they
remember
catch that
Malcolm when
sign?
they talked about starting and scheduling with?
So let me back up a little bit. Let me go back to the base question. When you said September 15th, is that to have the concrete poured, or is that for the tower to be completed?
When I said that, and then I asked Russ if he could commit to an August 15th, that was him doing the concrete by August 15th, waiting 28 days, and then putting up the tower. You're gonna be blown away how quick I can put that tower up.
Give me a 1-day deal, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
I figured
And
that
then-
would be nothing at that.
Not with a crane, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
So then, when you put it up, then how, will Action Communications be moving, or not moving, putting the new antennas on the tower,
yes.
and how long will that take?
Well, if I can have your parking lot to stage this tower, I will crib the tower high enough that I can put all of the antennas on while it's on the ground. We stand it up, and my part's done.
So within that 28-day window, you'll be constructing the tower, putting the antennas on it.
Yep.
And then stand it up, and then cabling.
I'll do the cabling on the ground and everything.
So you're talking worst case scenario, we're talking end of September. I'm sorry, I did not catch his name.
Russ Reisig.
If Russ is able to commit to an August 15th, you're saying worst case scenario, end of September,
Yes.
which I think fits in the timeline perfectly.
Going along with that, if they could start their brickwork before Russ does his, maybe
They
that
can figure it
eliminates-
Out of that corner.
Well, see, the other thing isn't just the brickwork that they're talking about doing with the repointing and all that, it's the roof, because they've got asbestos abatement and all that, and that was like a 10/1 kind of a deal. And, you know, they've got roofers up there, and they can't have roofers working above their brick guys, and.
But what Sampson has told us is the tower is priority. So they'll work around however they need to. So once we have a date from Russ when he thinks he can start, we can convey that to Sampson. I have a feeling the answer is yes, that they'll have that brickwork done before you're ready to roll. Because they've already mobilized.
Yeah, I don't think the brickwork's the problem.
I think they intend to be
Mr.
over that side, be done over there end of July. So you'll see there,
What our goal is to get all the antennas functional on the new tower, so we can get rid of all the antennas on.
So they can do the roof.
So they can do the roof.
So are there internet companies on your roof?
There is an internet company up there, but they were planning on leaving the tower on the roof at this time and moving it over to the tower later. They're gonna leave their internet deal on the roof.
And that's okay with you guys?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, it's
It's
not
a-
a soft mount thing, it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't poke a hole in
Yeah.
the membrane, it just sits
Well-
on top.
Rick's question was, I think, if you're okay with the internet equipment moving over to the communications tower at some point.
At a later time.
Right.
I mean,
And I think
I-
their answer would be yes.
mostly I just wanted to know if I was responsible for any of that stuff.
That's the internet company, isn't it?
Yeah.
And who is that company?
Mountain
West.
I don't know what you guys have for locators or people over here, back where I come from, they'll locate anything out in the street or anything like that. When you get on your own property, you have to bring the private locating company. I need to know what's in that corner before I go down and try to open up a foundation 6 feet deep in that corner, 10 by 10 by 6 feet, so I don't have a sewer line down there. Cause I'm gonna be 2 feet deeper than these windows. I mean, we're gonna be in the ground 2 feet below this wall here. I know we're gonna be below your footer, and I'm gonna have to offset, cause I can't load any of that tower onto your footings. I can't damage or cause any load to be on this building, you know, I need to isolate.
811 and you'll know in 48 hours.
And I need to isolate that with some.
But I think what Russ is saying is 811 locates public utilities, but if you have anything private, like
Sewer
many
line,
times your
no.
sewer line,
They won't locate a sewer or water.
No.
So our sewer line goes.
We know where the sewer line is pretty well and the
Yeah.
water.
Oh, it goes that way? I thought it went that way, under the jack.
That way.
That way.
Goes
Okay.
right down this hallway
So
out
the-
here and right that way.
Only thing in this corner is grounding for the radio room and dispatch right now. That's it.
So we're gonna run into all that grounding in that
All
corner.
that cable and stuff like that.
It's just,
So what do we do for that? I mean, we can't be pulling that out and have hot ground here.
I'll work with you.
For me,
I'll, well, actually,
I'm a dirt guy.
I'm a ground guy. We want to maintain the integrity of that, or heal it back up, which is not a problem from my point of view. I mean, we have the means to do that, so.
Well, because 10 foot will be out far enough away from the building, I don't think there'll be a footer issue.
You don't think grounding will be over that close, interesting?
Well, I
No,
don't know
he's
about
saying
gravity.
the footing.
I'm talking about a footer issue with the building.
Did you have
I
a,
bet that footing's out there 1.5 feet, 2 foot wider than the wall right now.
Yeah,
those
but
big-
we still got that kind of room.
Yeah, we've got the room.
and envision this base is 10 feet.
Mhm.
So we want to
It'd be
tuck it
12,
up.
14 feet from
The
there.
normal way that we build those is we'll dig a 10 by 10 hole and your earth becomes your base for that first 1.5
Mhm.
concrete fill. I mean, we don't set a form. I mean, we just dig our walls out nice and square and straight. And that dirt becomes our form. But now with this, we're gonna end up having to go and form that out to keep us isolated and we're gonna have to form out 2 sides of that base, I'm sure, to keep away from the footings on both of these buildings. So, I mean,
Probably.
I hope there's nothing else there, you know.
So
I
it,
hope we got good soil. I don't know anything about your soils here, but I might
Hard
have
to
a soils
dig.
person come in and check that soil. Have you had boring on this and had it done?
no, this foundation uses what they call presumptive soil.
Okay.
It's kind of worst case. So, if we'd have,
Well, if I get into it and I have any questions, because I know soils pretty well. Do you know when Fort Laramie Canal went out? I ran that crew, we put that all back together. I ran all those ditch companies that came in and I ran that whole crew. When we brought that dam up 40 feet, all the walls there had washed out. We were at a 97% from the very start of that job to the top. And the soils engineer, a young guy, asked me, he said, how in the hell do you keep that soil like that? Well, if your soil's consistent, you keep your water consistent, your compaction will be consistent. And I've got to be able to find out, I got to feel comfortable if that's good soil, and I'll know if it's poop or if it's good when I get down there, and if we have to I hope we don't have to over excavate, that's all
I bet you don't.
Well, bet you don't.
It's tight.
With this
we're
clay-based
tight.
hard stuff we got here,
Well, I know, but the trouble that I've ran into over years, a lot of these old areas through these little towns, they've been washed out through the river, and they've had gravel placed, and then they've had a bed of silt laid in there. And I need to get down in there and see what's in there to look at that.
Yeah.
We're quite a ways from the river.
Pardon?
We're quite a ways from the river.
Most of the stuff over here is like what you,
Rivers ran here millions of years ago, and that stuff's still there, it never left, and once we get down below 4 feet, we need to see what's in there.
so, one thing that was a surprise to us, was the, amount of rock that's in our way. Are we gonna want Russ to remove that? Or can the county people do that, or?
the landscaping.
I think
Landscape,
we can
we can have it
get
brought
that
back
taken
out of the
care
way.
of.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at doing right now is probably to bring in a big heavy boom truck. I don't think my boom truck's gonna reach what we're wanting to do. I have a boom truck with about 65 foot of reach, but I don't think that's gonna get us in that corner. Measures back 47 now, so I was looking at bringing a big pan in and walking a small mini excavator in there, something with 7 to 10 foot of reach, and dig that hole with a mini, put it in buckets and bring it around and dump it in a dump truck, so we don't have to tear up everything. So everything around here will be in good shape.
I appreciate
Same
that.
with when we come back, we can swing our rebar, and we can pre-tie our rebar, so we don't have people working in a hole all day. We'll have our rebar cages, and everything will be pre-tied, set in a hole, brace it up where it needs to be, and we'll come right in for that. And then come in and set our sonotube and sirens, or column, be two separate boards. But if I can do it all with a boom truck, I can boom out the dirt, boom that in, and if I could have that rock back out of the way just far enough to where don't have to mess with it, not be responsible for your rock. I don't really wanna be responsible for your landscaping. Cause if it isn't quite right, whoever
Why?
can fix it
So,
for you,
so
not
how
have
big
to
of an
drive
area,
back over
how
here.
big of an area,
Pardon you?
how big of an area do you want the rock?
Oh, we'd have to negotiate that, I guess, we gotta look and see, once we get down, because we dig down, we may end up having to move over, when we find out how far these footings go out. Those footings, they can be out there 4 feet, I don't know how.
We can get that done.
Well, I think, are you guys ready to adjourn?
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
this,
Maybe we could walk out there
agree.
and, I think I'd like to ask
Well, they
you to
can't adjourn, because with 3 board members, they've gotta stay in session until.
we can go.
There no decisions were made.
It's better if you had stayed in the session.
But yeah, let's just stay in session and go outside for a
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Do we have any further business?
We have no further business.